there's a lot of issues around water. It's not the same as carbon, which is a global commodity, which doesn't really, it's no different if it's carbon from Guyana in South America to a piece of carbon or a ton of carbon from DRC, for example. Water is a little bit different, more localized, a little bit more challenging. I want to talk a little bit about watershed service transactions. So those watershed services and water payments that are directly related to conservation or forest protection of key watersheds. And that's obviously the space of the market that CI is very interested in, which is different from, say, wetlands banking or other types of water trading, which is more common in the United States, but really providing financial incentives to people who manage land to protect their watershed. So this is really important for a variety of different reasons, from businesses to communities' access to not only fresh water, but also electricity. So for those of you that don't understand this exactly, so basically we have freshwater flows, and if deforestation happens upland from those freshwater flows, then a couple of things happen. One, you have greater siltation and sedimentation that flows into the water because of deforestation, and when the rains come, all of the soil that was on top that was currently held down by the trees goes into the water. Well, that's really challenging for dam companies. Dam companies who need fast water flowing through their dams to create efficient electricity. Deforestation is a real problem. So a lot of dam companies have said, maybe we should start paying for those farmers upstream or those land managers upstream to stop deforesting. So it's a great market mechanism for protecting watersheds. In addition to the benefits to the dam companies, there's all sorts of community benefits and, of course, climate and ecosystem service benefits. So the market right now, these are 2008 numbers, $9 billion in payments, 113 active programs, China representing almost 50% of the market. And there's a very important reason for that. Often it's related to dams. However, some of the challenge in this is people just assume water is a public good, right? It's just there, it's for us, why should we pay? If we pay, let's just pay a little bit. The government should be providing us water, it's a public good. I mentioned before the challenges with water versus carbon. Often it's just a single buyer, the municipality or the electrical company. So how do you trade watershed services? We haven't quite gotten to the maturation of the market yet, but again, thinking through some issues in specific countries and examples from some really interesting projects in China and in the United States, and some entrepreneurs like yourselves, we can hopefully move to a market for this. Same issues with carbon relate to water. Who owns it, right? If it passes through your land, do you own it and you have the right to trade it, or is it really still just in the domain of the government? I do want to mention some entrepreneurial projects that CI and companies like Marriott and dam companies in China are doing. Here's an example from Sichuan province. It's a Pinggu. Pinggu is the name of the town, and it's called the Pinggu Water Fund. And this is basically, as I mentioned before, a dam company coming to CI and working with Marriott. Marriott has about 34 hotels in China and is looking to expand significantly over the next few years, and recognizes that they use a lot of water in their hotels. So they're very concerned about water. In this particular area, this province and this watershed supports 400 million people with drinking water. Critical watershed throughout China and the rest of South and Southeast Asia for water. This is a critical area. So together, we've created the Pinggu Water Conservation Fund, which is working with us, Marriott, and the local government and utility company to create a fund that will help mitigate deforestation above the watershed to stop that runoff that's going into the dams. The dam companies provide reduced electricity to the communities in exchange, reduced price electricity in exchange for the conservation activities. But recognizing, of course, that people need to deforest to plant crops and often to use trees for housing construction. But promoting sustainable livelihoods is a key part of this. So Marriott is helping them with, and CI is helping them with honey production and mushroom farming that they're selling in their hotels. And as well, this is helping to protect 24,000 hectares of critical habitat. So the communities win, Marriott wins, the dam company wins because of reduced deforestation, and it's a great win for climate and conservation of watersheds in this area.